Calorie counting is out in the new year. If you want to burn fat and get lean and have more energy and you're a woman over 40, the best way to get results is by focusing on your macro intake. Now, when I counted calories, I was losing and regaining the same 5 pounds. But when I switched over to macro focused eating in my 40s, not only was I able to finally lose 30 pounds in the first 75 days, but I went on to lose 70 pounds in 9 months. Now, after losing that weight, I did have some loose skin around my abdomen. It was starting to affect my running, and so I had a tummy tuck to have that loose skin removed. And then I continued this same eating style and I went on to lose an additional 16 pounds. So as a woman over 40, by switching my focus from calories to macros, I was able to lose approximately 90 pounds. And this eating style doesn't work just for me. I've shown hundreds of other women how to do the same, and they're switching their approach to macro-based eating and they are finally seeing results in their 40s and 50s. So what is it that makes macro-based nutrition different from calorie-based nutrition? Well, when you think about it, with calories, you're just simply counting a unit of heat. That is what a calorie is. And so you're not taking into account the quality of the food that you're eating. You're just looking at the quantity of food that you're eating. Remember when I said that I was losing and regaining the same 5 pounds? Well, it was because I was counting calories and I would reserve a block of calories for sweet treats. Things like cakes and candies and ice cream and pies. So yes, I was still technically in a calorie deficit and I could lose weight, but because those foods held no nutritional value, I wasn't getting the result that I was looking for. The scale was not going down. And then when you're calorie counting, your body adapts to the reduced number of calories that you're eating. And so now in order to continue to lose weight, you have to continue to cut your calories. And you get to the point where you're basically starving yourself because you're not eating enough calories because you're trying to maintain this deficit. That just simply leads to binging, and there goes your weight loss journey. Now, with the macro-based eating approach, fair enough, you're still technically counting calories, but you're focused on the quality of food that you're eating first, and not just the number of calories that you're consuming. When you are focused on macros, when you're focused on hitting that protein target and staying under your carbs and your fat targets for the day, then you're automatically going to be forced to choose higher quality, nutritiously dense foods that will help you to reach those targets. And in doing that, you're eliminating those other foods from your diet that hold no nutritional value. I'm able to eat so much more food, and I'm talking about volume of food, on a macro-based diet versus a calorie counting diet, simply because the quality of the food that I'm eating is much higher on a macro-based diet. And so I'm not starving myself. I'm eating foods that actually help me stay fuller longer. I'm resisting the urge to snack constantly because those cravings aren't there. The reason why we have cravings for sugary treats is because we are eating sugary treats. And what happens is you eat the sugary treat, you get that high for a few minutes, your body then comes crashing down, your blood sugar then comes crashing down, and now your body's like, okay, I need that high again. Where can I get that high again? That is what a craving is. But when you're focused on macro-based nutrition and you're eating high quality foods that keep you full, you don't have those same cravings. Your body is not constantly chasing that sugar high, and so therefore you're not snacking as much. You're staying within a caloric deficit and you're able to burn fat and see a difference in your physical body composition. Now, when I started my weight loss journey this time around in my 40s, I decided to do something different because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I was counting calories in the past and I got to the point where I was starving myself. I couldn't sustain that type of eating, and then there went my weight loss journey. But this time around, I decided to do something different. I started with the TDEE calculator and I plugged in my information and I told it what my weight loss goals were. And by doing so, it gave me macro targets for my protein, my carbs, and my fats. I took those targets and I plugged them into MyFitnessPal, and then I started to track what I ate. And again, I know people don't like to track. It's a hassle to do that after, every time that you eat, but you only even need to do it for a week or so to kind of figure out and analyze what are those foods that help me to hit my macro targets and stay within a calorie deficit, and what are those foods that absolutely have no nutritional value. They take up calories in my diet, but they don't help me to hit these macro goals. And you can start weeding out some of the foods that you eat just by doing that for a week. And again, the reason why this works for fat loss is because yes, you're still maintaining a calorie deficit, but now you're forced to eat higher quality foods, and it's actually helping you to get the result that you want. So what does a day of macro-based eating look like? Take a look at this clip from one of my What I Eat in a Day videos, where I share with you exactly everything that I ate in that one day to hit almost 150 grams of protein for the day while only eating 12 grams of sugar. So my first meal of the day was breakfast, and I had 2 eggs plus 2 egg whites, and I scrambled them with spinach, onions, and grape tomatoes. I had a half cup of blueberries with that, and I also had 2 slices of turkey bacon. Now I added the 2 egg whites to it because that gave me an additional 10 grams of protein, and the turkey bacon gave me an additional 12 grams of protein. So for breakfast, I had 36 grams of protein. Now my second meal of the day was my mid-morning snack, and I had a slice of flourless bread. This is 7-grain flourless bread, and I had 2 tablespoons of creamy peanut butter. My family likes Peter Pan peanut butter. That's what we had, so that's what I ate. But between the slice of bread and the peanut butter, I had 12 grams of protein for my mid-morning snack. Now for lunch, I decided to do some chicken wraps. So I took a pound of ground turkey and I mixed it with some El Paso taco seasoning mix. And then after it cooked, I weighed out 6 ounces. And that 6 ounces of ground chicken came out to 33 grams of protein. I paired that with a few pieces of lettuce, and I had 75 grams of lettuce, and yes, I did put it on the food scale and weigh it, 75 grams of lettuce. And then I also had 3 ounces of baby carrots. Now, I didn't steam mine, I ate them raw, but you could always steam these if you want. I like baby carrots, I like the crunch, so I decided to eat them raw. Now this lunch meal gave me a total of 34.7 grams of protein. So my fourth meal of the day, or what you could call my mid-afternoon snack, I had a 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds and I had 2 ounces of thin sliced deli meat. Now the pumpkin seeds had 8 grams of protein in it, and then the deli meat had 10 grams of protein in it. So for my mid-afternoon snack, I had a total of 18 grams of protein. And people don't realize that pumpkin seeds have a lot of protein in them. You get a lot of protein in just a little bit. So 18 grams of protein total for the pumpkin seeds as well as the deli meat. All right, and then finally for dinner, I had baked chicken wings with 2 cups of broccoli. And broccoli is another one of those foods that has hidden protein in it. People don't realize how much protein it has in it, but broccoli has 8 grams of protein in it for 2 cups. And so you think about 2 cups of broccoli, that is a lot of volume. It's very filling, plus you get 8 grams of protein. So I got 8 grams of protein from the broccoli. I got 32 grams of protein from the chicken wings. So total, I had 40 grams of protein for dinner. So when I go over to my dashboard and take a look at my macros, what I find is that I'm over my macro count for the day. Now my macro goal for the day was 130, but I told you I was going to show you how to hit 140, and that's exactly what we did. I'm at 141 grams of protein for the day. My fats, I am over by 4 grams, but that's okay. It's just 4 grams. I wasn't counting for fats. I was counting for protein. And then what you'll see is that I'm under the carbs for the day. So my carb limit for the day was 152 grams, and I ended up at 78 grams of carbs. And I'm always looking to reduce my carbs to the extent possible, but I don't do it by counting carbs. I do it by counting protein and focusing on my protein intake. If I select the right types of food and hit my protein goal for the day, then usually I'm a little lower on my carbs, and that's exactly where I want to be. Now, if you're interested in learning more about macro-based eating and how to finally lose weight as a woman over 40, I recommend that you click on the link in my video description and pick up a copy of 7-Day Slim Down. Now, this e-guide gives you the basics of macro-based eating and why it works, and it also gives you a 7-day meal plan along with the recipes. So you can take this e-guide and this 7-day meal plan and you can actually follow it, no counting required because the macros are already counted out for you. Or you can tailor it to your specific macro needs based on the targets that you received after using the TDEE calculator. And this is the perfect way to get started on a macro-based eating approach, learning how to eat more nutritious foods and cut out those foods that don't have any nutritional value, aka processed sugar, and finally get you on track to burning fat and getting lean. So if that's something that you're interested in, click on the link in the video description and check that out. Now, there's one thing that I always credit with helping me to stay consistent with the macro-based eating plan, which has helped me to lose 90 pounds total over time. And if you're interested in learning more about what that one thing is, grab a pen and a piece of paper and check out this next video.